Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and we're going to make something a little bit different today. This is going to be our challenge too for week 2. That's where you use some type of material or lace or something to create either a journal cover or a pocket or something like that. So this is going to be week 2 of E's July challenge. And what we're going to use is, this was a box, as you can see. It was one of those little thin boxes that has folders in it, file folders. And then this is some beautiful fabric from Cathi Holden that I bought off of Etsy. And we're going to use a piece of this to cover it with. Sure. And I can't remember who I bought this from. I bought it a while ago. But you can go on Etsy and just search Cathi Holden, and you'll find all types of fabric over there. She makes some beautiful fabrics. Alright, first thing we're going to do is cut off these pieces because we don't need those. And I'm going to try to cut as straight as I can, but I'm not going to worry too much about it because I can shape it up once I get these off. And I'll save those. I can use those for backings on tags and things. This is not a real thick cardboard, but it's thick enough for what we want to use it for. Man, I am going crooked. Okay. Alright, so lay those aside. Now I'm going to straighten this up a little bit if I can with my rotary trimmer. And I have backed my camera out so that you'll be able to see the whole process, hopefully. Well, let's see. I don't know if I'm going to trim it up with that or not. I guess I'll have to use my X-Acto knife. It's a little bit too long for that. Okay. Make sure that you're on a mat that is a self-healing mat. Self-sealing. I can't even talk today. Self-sealing mat. And I am just going to try to lay that down through there and then trim that little bit off that I got crooked there. There we go. Let's see. This one, just a little bit. I'm going to put that on the line there and see if I can trim this right down through here. Okay. And we'll do that again. Put it on one of our lines up there, grid lines, and then we'll just trim it. And I'm not really worried about the measurements right now. I'm just wanting to get it straight, or the edges as straight as I can anyway. Well, I didn't go so straight on that one, so let's try that again. There we go. Alright, and one more side. Yeah, it looks like we need to trim him up a little bit. Okay. See what that looks like. For some reason, these edges didn't want to trim very well. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I am going to lay it this way just to make sure that I've got both ends pretty even, and looks like I do. Maybe just a little bit off on this one, but I'm not going to worry about that right now either. Alright, so what we're going to do is make this into a journal cover. And like I said, this is just about thick enough that we can do that. Now I'll tell you something else. This is what I was going to do, but I didn't have a used bubble mailer, and I didn't want to cut up one of our good ones. So I was going to put a bubble mailer here and then cover that with material, but I didn't have one used, and I wasn't going to cut up a brand new one. So we're just going to use this. This will work just as good. So what we're going to do is cover this. This is going to make a pretty good sized journal, but I think I'm going to like that. So let's see how big it is going to make it. I'm just going to halfway fold it in the middle just to see. I really don't want it folded, so I'm just going to do that like that. And then let's see, this is going to be 6 by 10, 6 by 10, so that's going to be a nice size journal. And we can find some pages and things that'll work in that. I'll trim this little corner off right here because it's bugging me. I think I don't think it'll be any trouble finding pages. We'll just need to put, like the 8.5 by 11 pages, we'll need to put them this way, and then we may have to like attach something to the other side of them, but I'm not worried about that part. Right now we just want to cover this. Now I'm just going to look at this material and see which part I want to use. I think I wanted to get that house on there like that, and I wanted to get these on there. So I think I will use that part of it right there. What do you think? See, now I'm seeing the little birds up there, and I like them too. Decisions. Okay, I think we can do that. So I'm going to cut this off some just so I don't have such a big piece to work with. And just looking under there, and pull it on down a little bit. I want a little bit to wrap around. I don't have to have much, but I do want a little bit. Okay, now we've got enough over there for a lot more. Alright, now I'm going to turn it this way and then I can see everything better. So that's going to be enough to wrap there. So all we need to do now is trim a little bit of this off, and I think I'm going to trim right there where that fold is. And that'll make some pretty fabric flips, won't it? That may be what we do next week. I don't know. I am going to trim this little selvage off. Not that it's going to matter too much because I'm going to have the inside covered with some paper, but just in case, I don't want it showing. There we go. Now the object on this is to get it pretty straight when you start to lay everything down. So I'm going to flip it back over this way and just kind of look. I want one little bird on there anyway. I won't be able to get both because I'm going to have to fold around, but I can get one of them. If I do it like that right there, I like that. Okay, I'm going to flip it back over, and I'm going to hold that right there, and that's where we're going to put it down at. I don't think, yeah, I think I'll just leave that. I started to say I'd cut it off a little more, but I don't think I will. I'm going to use PVA glue to glue this down. And I'm just going to put some around, and then I'm going to use my brush to brush this in. Now, if you put a ton of PVA glue on here, you're going to have, it's going to take it a long time to dry. And I probably have put too much. I always over glue, but I can rub a little of it off if I need to. You just want to get an even layer. It doesn't have to be anything that's absolutely perfect. Just kind of an even layer. And make sure that you get it right up to the edges. Okay, a little bit more in the middle. Now, we don't have PVA glue. We haven't been able to get it for months now. So I get mine off of Amazon. I'll try to link it below, but if I forget, you can just go to my Amazon store and you can find it there. Okay, now we need to turn this over. Oops, not yet. Lay it down. Now, before I really squish this in, I'm going to turn it over and do some pulling. I want all of those wrinkles out of that, or as many as I can get out anyway. Alright, looks like I pulled a little bit much right there, so we're going to pull that back up. Alright, where is my bone folder? Now, I'm just going to take my bone folder and rub over this. And I'm just going to rub it toward the edges. And if you feel any little lumps or crinkles, just press them out with your bone folder. There's one right there. There we go. All right. Nice and flat. Feels like it's covered good. Okay, that's going to stick down really well. And then I'm going to fold these over and glue them on that side right there. So I'm going to do just like we do when we're covering with paper. We're going to cut the corners off a little bit. Now, this is not a real thick material, but if you're using a real thick material, you might want to cut a little bit closer to your corners. This is not too thick, so I'm not too worried about it. I've got a little pull right there, so I'm going to pull it back down this way. Okay, so now we're going to put some glue on this side. Now I like to flip it over and just kind of look and see if that edge looks straight, and it does. Then I'm going to flip it around this way and put glue down here. Okay, there we go with that. Put a little bit more right here. That needs to glue down because when we put the paper on there, we don't want that loose. Or we may put material on the inside. I haven't figured that out yet. Right, now I'm going to see how my corners are going to fold. I'm just going to fold them in and then fold that up. So what I'm doing is I have a little piece right here, and I'm just going to fold that in first and then fold this up. And that's going to make a nice corner, not so pointy. And I'll go ahead and put my glue there so that I can fold that over. And then the same thing over here. We're just going to kind of tuck that in and fold it up like that. Now you may have a different way to do your corners, and if you do, that's fine. You don't have to do them the way that I do. I just don't like that sharp pointy corner, so I'd rather have mine like that. But that is up to you. I find when I make them with those sharp pointy corners that the corners tend to get a little bit ragged unless you put a corner protector on there. So I just kind of do my own corner protecting. Alright, again we're gonna fold this in. Make sure I got some glue there. Fold that in and then fold that up like that, and fold that one in and that up. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and then again I'm going to get my bone folder and really press this down. And anything that's loose I'll be able to tell when I start pressing on this. Got a little loose piece right there. Okay, looks good. Little piece right here that we need to put down. And I like that. Okay, this is my front side. Isn't that going to be pretty? I love it. Love, love, love it. Now, I'm going to lay this aside and let this dry before I cover the inside. So, as soon as this dries, we'll come back and cover the inside. And I may cover the inside with material too. Sounds like a good idea. I have more of her material, so I may just cover the inside with the material too. And then we will grab some pages that we can put together to put in here. I am loving that. And that's going to be really nice to take with me. I can just toss this in my purse because it's going to have material for the outside of it, so I'm not going to have to worry about it getting all messed up or torn. So cool. I'm liking it. Okay. All right, let me go and let this dry. I'm going to have to put it down or I'm going to keep on trying to fold it. let me go and let it dry, and then we'll come back and we'll put the inside on there and start doing a little bit more work on it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and cover the inside of this. That's how the outside looks. It's completely dry. Love, love, love the feel of it. Now this is another one of Cathi Holden's fabric, and this one is like an old crate. It has I don't know if I can read that or not. Packets maybe, I don't know. Anyway, it's like an old crate is what this one is. So we're just going to put some PVA glue. Now I will link some PVA glue below. I don't have any. We have ordered some many months ago, and it never came in. So I'll link the kind that I get from Amazon. It works great, and it dries pretty quick. So you don't have to worry about sitting and waiting too long. And it doesn't make your paper warp. I like that part of it. And I use PVA glue for big areas like this, and especially if I'm gluing down material to chipboard or something like this. You know, this is just one of those box covers or box bottoms. I don't know if it's the top or the bottom, so it's a box something. It's what old file folders come in. Now, I didn't measure to see if I've got this at the right places, but I can always go back and add a little bit on the edges if I need to. I went ahead and cut this the size that I thought I needed because it makes it a little bit quicker. And then just going to press it out. You just need to make sure that you get all of your area covered where your other material stops. And I'm going to trim that right there a little bit because it's a little bit frayed. I think it did that when I tore it. And it doesn't bother me to have a little bit of that hanging out. I just don't want a lot of it. Now I'm just going to take my bone folder and I'm going to start on the middle and run it out to the outsides. It's going to press any of that glue, excess glue that I have in the middle, to the outside, and then it'll press out all of the wrinkles in there. So there we go. It looks like everything glued pretty good except this little spot right here. There we go. Make sure that, I think I got a little bit right there that I need to glue down. There we go. And I've just got my glue mat under here so that I don't get all this on my table, hopefully. All right, that is it for the inside. Now we just need to wait for this to dry, and then we're ready to put in our signature. Look at that. Isn't that going to be pretty? It's going to be a nice size. It's going to be kind of tall, but I like that because I'm going to use this for my kids, for their singing ministry and all of their trips that they're taking. Some of them we can go on, some of them we can't, but I'm going to use this to document all of that. Just think it's super pretty. This material, it was just one of my favorites. When I saw Cathi make this, and I saw the very first video on it, I thought, I want that material. And so I finally hunted until I found it on Etsy. So if you're looking for any Cathi Holden's material, just go to Etsy and type in Cathi Holden. And I think it's C-A-T-H-I Holden. And you'll find her materials. I bought just a stack. It had different materials in it. I think it had maybe a couple of yards or a yard of each. I can't remember exactly. But it wasn't very expensive at all. Okay, we're going to wait for this to dry, and then we will come back and we'll add the signatures in. I may put a pocket here with some material or lace, and we will finish this journal up. I'll probably put an eyelet in here to have a tie on it. I think that would be pretty if I can find a good material to use for the tie. I'd like to have either a red or maybe a teal or something, but we will do that when this dries.